Hello, everyone. This is Kristie with AG Takes Over. I'm glad you're here. Obviously, today is a Q&A video. I like these if you are somehow new to the world of AGTube. Question and answer videos usually consist of an AGTuber saying, send me some questions. I'll make a video answering them. And it's a nice way to get to know some things about a person's collection or them that you might not have known before. Obviously, some questions kind of make the rounds every single time you do a Q&A, so I try not to do them too frequently. Anyway, this is probably my third or fourth one. I'm just going to go in the order that I wrote the questions down, and we'll see how long it takes. I'll try to get through them quickly. So, Norahs Hideout5700 says, or asks, you may have already covered this in another video, but I'm fairly new to your channel. Curious to know the backstory of Grace's interest in collecting, her childhood experience with the dolls, and the context surrounding you getting interested in the same. I remember you said you started collecting as an adult. So she was gifted a couple dolls by her grandmother as a child, really liked them. Wasn't a collector, just a kid who had some AG dolls. Her dad kept them and a bunch of other toys while she grew up and moved from place to place. And at the beginning of the pandemic decided, or prior to the pandemic, somewhere around there, decided you are grown people and you have your own home and it has a basement. So these don't need to live in my basement forever. And he brought down maybe 3 tubs of things from her childhood, in which were 2 of her childhood dolls. And I think it just sparked something in her, especially in such a stressful time, remembering like a really carefree time in life. And then, of course, the internet has happened since then. So she quickly found out that there's an entire world of collectors who sew and photograph and build things and customize and restore and do all these fun things with dolls. So yeah, the rest was history for her. I started out as a bewildered spouse, like, what the heck is going on? And then supportive, but not really into them. And then that quickly changed to me being into them. The very short version, because you're right, Nora, or Norahs Hideout 5700, I have covered this before, but the very short version of that evolution for me is once we established a budget and a set location where this growing collection would live, I stopped feeling resentful and started feeling much more calm about them. And that's when I was able to see like, oh, they actually are really cool and be more open-minded about it. I was just stressed initially. So yeah. Next, Letters from an American Girl asks 2 questions. 1, what do you think makes American Girl special or stand out from other doll and toy brands? Well, I do, not to like sound, this is not an original take, right? But I do think a lot of what has historically made it special has been lost. The detail of the collections, the number of stories, that kind of thing, with more and more and more dolls having shallower, it's like breadth, not depth. So with more dolls and having kind of smaller collections, I do think that some of what's historically made it special has been lost, but there's still a lot of things that make it different. Comparing to other dolls that I see in the toy section of your average store, lack of giant eyes for me, more proportionate measurements. As a parent, like less concerning measurements. I see a lot of things that give me pause that I don't necessarily want my child playing with for the messages that she will pick up subtly. So yeah, more proportionate bodies. The books, these are dolls with books. That's not unique, but it is, it's not only them, but, not many toys have that. The mix of historical and modern so that there's something for everyone. And even though they're closing stores left and right, who's bitter? I am. There are still entire stores dedicated exclusively to this brand. Like Legos come to mind, but other than that, not many toy brands can boast that. Like there are dining experiences and theatrical shows and literally generations of families enjoying these dolls together. And I could fault find all day because I'm observant and I also don't believe in blind loyalty, but least of all to a corporation. But the AG community and their creativity also make these dolls so much more than what Mattel does, right? Sometimes it's the fandom that makes something bigger than what it was ever intended or imagined to be. Then the next question from the same person is, what doll or dolls do you plan on giving your youngest kiddo that are currently available? So she already has 3 dolls that we purchased in play condition, like used dolls. We got her a Melody, a Truly Me 17, and a 7, I think. And she's got some Welly Wishers and some bitty babies, like a few of each. But we have purchased 2 new 18-inch dolls to hold back for her until she's older. So we have Blair Wilson because she was released the same year our daughter was born, and Luciana Vega because we have quite accidentally, or not premeditatedly, ended up getting a lot of Luciana's collection, including her Mars habitat, and we're holding most of that back because we'd like her to have AG's currently only STEM-centric doll. So yeah, those are the 2 we're holding back. Next, Tin Man Lover 1994 asks, who was your first American Girl doll and how did you discover American Girl? Discovered through my wife. We covered that. And my first one was Truly Me 55. That was a gift from my wife. Next, same person asked, who's your favorite historical book series that you've read? I would say it's a toss-up between kids' books and Melody's books. I really like them both. And then favorite girl of the year. I guess these were 4 questions from one person. Favorite girl of the year. This is tough for me, and I'm not really going to answer it directly. So for collection, it's Grace. For her stories, maybe Gabriella. Most photogenic would probably be Leah. I don't think I can pick a favorite. Give me categories, maybe like break it down further, and I could do it. And then the last question from that person is, if you could be an American Girl historical, who would you be? And I tried to think of this. I thought of it. I tried to think of an answer and could not decide on one. Because the cop-out would be to say the 80s or 90s, because I was alive for them. But I feel like I should say something that would actually be a difference in my life. And a lot of these were heavy times, so I don't know. I'm going to keep thinking about this, though. It's a good question. Next is one question from Amy's Odd Menagerie 3797. What are your top 3 favorite face molds? And I'm going to go with my first instinct on this. I want to do a separate video about, face molds, but not necessarily in order. Gut instinct, top 3 are the old Jess mold, the old Sonali mold, and any Addie mold. And yes, I'm separating out Jess and Sonali between like older and newer because it's a huge difference. Next, at 2meg1429. This was 2 questions. What was your main thing prior to delving into AG? And do you still dabble in other hobbies? Harry Potter. I very much still enjoy the series and all of the friends that I've made and activities that I engage in surrounding the fandom. The way that I enjoy Harry Potter has obviously changed over the years because of the author, but it is still super important to me. In fact, tomorrow night, my wife and I are going out of town. We're spending the night away from the kiddo and going to the Crystal Ball, which is our local Harry Potter fan group's version of the Yule Ball. Basically a prom for wizard nerds. And we've gone for pretty much the entire time we've been together. So that'll be a lot of fun. The other question was about, do I still dabble in other hobbies? Yeah, I loved crafting pre-AG, and I still do. I just shifted a lot of the crafting to work with dolls, and I like to read. The amount of reading I do in a given year ebbs and flows, but I'm definitely a lifelong reader. Next up, American Girl Films asked, if you had to narrow it down to one doll with their collection, who would you choose and why? And I am sorry, Bailey, I cannot. I tried. I can't. The best I can do is my top 20. And I actually already made that into a separate video that we'll post sometime in the next month or 2. So keep an eye out for that. And that's the best I can do for you. I apologize. Josephine at AGTV for Life said, when I do the Q&A, can I share 3 outfits representative of my personal style? I'll probably do a flat lay here of like 3 outfits that I've worn this week, but they're nothing. I answered briefly in a comment to her. I said, I love that you assume I have any style. I do not. I definitely do not. Okay. Josefina Sienna, that is the channel, Maddie, asked, who was the toughest doll to purchase for your collection? And I am not sure if toughest referred to logistics or cost or emotions or something else. But the first doll that came to mind was my wife's. I don't know if this is my like final answer, but it's the one that came to mind, was my wife's 115 Easton, because she was at least difficult to get on 2 fronts. We went to the AG store like a gajillion times, and they didn't have a single one who didn't either have uneven eyelashes or bad lip paint or both. So logistically, she was a challenge. And also, it was the last doll that Grace got to handpick from the store, so it was bittersweet, and I would say toughest emotionally too. Next, BCN_0629 asks, in terms of face molds, doll, boys, hair options, etc., what are my wishes for the next AG Truly Me release? And what do I want in that line of dolls for 2024? I think that's basically the same question. I would love to see more of the Addie mold in the Truly Me line, or more importantly, a historical or at least Girl of the Year. I would like to see more freckles in general, less rainbow hair. I know it's wishful thinking because it seems to sell well, but I'm not anti. It just seemed like it got really heavily rainbow hair this past time. Fewer chunky highlights. Again, wishful thinking. I know they're popular. I don't personally love them. So maybe use the Claudie mold. I want to see Claudie done in, with different options. But I also am like, it's okay to me that she's the only one right now because it's special. So I don't know. Maybe the Claudie mold. None of the eyebrows that they seem to, I would like to see no more of the eyebrows that they have seemed to settle on for the Joss mold. Like, Joss had her eyebrows, the standard feather eyebrows, and then now the ones that Nikki and Isabel have that do kind of look mean to me seem to be what they're just settled on for Joss mold, and I would like that to change. Give her some different eyebrows. Like, whatever doll comes out with the Joss mold next, please. Nice face eyebrows. A doll with micro braids, that would be great. And the be all and end all of my wishful thinking, I would love to have the old Sonali and old Jess molds back. So yeah, I don't think any of these things are going to happen. And by the way, I am filming this on January 19th. So by the time it airs, they may have been released. I don't know. Same person asked, could you recommend 5 essential American Girl dolls, like a beginner's guide? And yeah, again, I tried not to overthink this. So maybe if I really had to do it, I would change my answers. But here's my gut answer. Melody. I think her hair is super versatile. It's really easy to work with. It has enough texture that people who have a hard time like styling hair and holding on to hair, it doesn't slip out of your fingers so easily. So it's a lot more forgiving. I think it's very beginner friendly. And she's cute, right? Leah, just because, so Melody, historical line. Leah, just wanted to pick a Girl of the Year, and I think she is like the most photogenic doll. Truly Me 40, because I wanted to pick a Truly Me, just trying to get a little mix of things here. And then, so we did historical Girl of the Year, Truly Me, a CYO. If somebody were doing a beginner's, I'm going to have 5 essential dolls. I think creating one is a really unique experience and would be cool for somebody to get to do. And Claudie, because she's Claudie and I freaking love her. Ladero01 asked, what was it that resonated with you about the American Girl dolls so much that it motivated you to focus on collecting them? So part of this was just circumstance, right? My wife got into them. Part of it's the proportions. Yeah, I feel like I've covered this well enough. I'm going to move on. At Light Home Society asks, who's your favorite historical? And I mentioned earlier that I really love Melody and Kit's stories, like a lot. But there's just something about Claudie. So before I overthink it, I'm just going to say Claudie. All right. At Elise Elliott asks, in one of your recent videos, you showed all the face molds that you have in your collection, and you kind of hinted at having some that you prefer over others. So I need to know favorite to least favorite face mold. It's not a cop out, but this is hard enough and interesting enough that I'm going to make a separate video to answer it. So we're going to put that in the parking lot, as the corporate people say, but I will revisit it. At Alice in Dollland asked a couple things. One, what's your favorite thing about doll collecting? I love that question. I love that doll collecting can mean so many different things to so many different people. Like, that's really my favorite thing. I like DIY projects and creating organized, pleasing spaces and dressing the dolls and styling them and just getting to be creative with them. You know, I love the people that I've met through this, but I also love how it's something that my wife and I can share. I love that it can be something completely different for somebody else, like a way to make history come alive, or a way to connect with their grandkids, or a way to heal someone's inner child, or a coping mechanism for anxiety. Like, I just love that. Their next question was favorite item and or doll that you collected in 2023. So again, trying not to overthink so I can actually put this video out. Favorite item. Okay, so 2023 was a good year. I'm going to pick 2 dolls and 2 items, the Shimmering Silver doll and my CYO Norah. And also, as far as items go, I was so excited to get the chicken keeping outfit from Kit's collection and the Girl of Today Kwanzaa outfit. So yeah, there's a lot more, but I suck at picking superlatives, so we'll stop there. And then their last question was, do you have a favorite retired outfit you would love to see AG bring back? Yeah, I think favorite that I don't have yet, because of course I'm going to be self-serving. If they're going to bring something back, I want it to be something that's still on my wish list. I would love to see the Wood Fairy costume brought out of the vault. Like, I would snatch that sucker up in a heartbeat. It's really hard to find it complete, and I don't want to donate a spleen to afford it. I won't. So yeah, that would be great. Can I get on that? At Perky Goth TV asks, what's the rarest doll or outfit in your collection? These are tough questions, and I don't think that they've been asked. Among our rare dolls, 4, 45, and 50 stand out, but I would say I see 50 the least on the resale market, so maybe she's technically the rarest. For outfits, again, if I'm looking at most obscure or like least available, then maybe the Review Overalls outfit is rarest. But we do have the Girl of the Day Kwanzaa outfit and the African Dance outfit, and I think those are hard to come by complete as well. So I'm not sure. One of those. At Shelby Moore 4219 asked 2 questions. If you could have any other AG Tubers dollhouse, who would it be? Whose would it be and why? I guess that's 2. And so let me answer that one first. Be Chic Forever's Dollhouse. I don't even know if that channel qualifies as an AG tube these days, because it's definitely kind of taken a turn. But they did create an AG video as recently as a year ago. So anyway, if you look at their 2019 Dollhouse tour, you can see why I would be happy to have it. And I'll go ahead and link that in the description. It's not even for the way it's decorated. It is for the structure itself. Like, yes, can you please just deliver that to my house? And then the next one was, who has your current favorite dollhouse tour to watch? Is it arrogant to say my own? I really freaking like our dollhouses. No, I would say AG, It's So Cute. And again, I'll link that in the description because I love dollhouse tours. So I hope that you can watch those if you haven't seen them already. A Very Nerdy Bookworm 972 asks, where do you find your dolls? And this prompted me to do a breakdown of what percentage of our dolls we've gotten from each place. So my new dolls have primarily come from American Girl Place Columbus, and my used ones have mostly come from Facebook Marketplace. Hello Kitty 2000 asked, who are your dream Girl of the Year dolls? I didn't know if this meant like ones that exist that I want, or the one of my dreams, meaning like of my imagining. So I'm going to go with the latter. And I don't have a fully fleshed out version, but a girl who looks like my CYO Norah. And in the description, I'm going to put a link to a video where I talked about what I would like for her story. So you can watch that whole thing. At Super Butterfly 217 asks 2 questions. One is your Addie Walker from Pleasant Company or American Girl? She's American Girl. We had both a PC and an AG one, but the AG one is the 35th anniversary and she's in much better shape. And both of them are Grace's. So she just decided to sell the PC one. So we're down to 1 Addie. And then the next one says, are you looking forward to the Truly Me, the new release? Again, by the time this comes out, they might have already been released. As of January 19th. Yeah, I am. I shouldn't be because we definitely don't need more dolls, but I'm curious. Like, I'm interested to see. So, yeah. At Jessica Arend asks, which is the next doll on your wish list? That's a good question. The answer should be none. It's a full house. If by the time this airs, I have gotten an 11, then none on my wish list. If I have not, then an 11 that I'm happy with will be still on my wish list. At Claus _ asks, what's your big 3? And I had to look this up. I had no idea what the heck she was talking about. But Cancer is Cancer Sun, Aries Moon, Leo Rising. You can tell me in the comments what that tells you about me because I have no idea. At Doll and Dino Mama asks, if you were going to make your dream historical character, what time and place would they be from? This is a good question. I don't know. We have never had an Asian historical character. Ivy was a best friend. So like a main character. And there is so much that's not widely known about the history of Asians in the United States. Like, for this question, I was looking up some stuff. And I'm like, holy crap. I mean, you might know this, but my history lessons failed me. So I did not know that in 1913, California banned Japanese immigrants from purchasing land. And so land would be purchased instead in the names of their U.S.-born children who are citizens. And that in 1927, there was a case that went to the Supreme Court that said states possess the right to define a Chinese student as non-white for the purpose of segregating them in public schools. In 1933, Filipinos were ruled ineligible for citizenship, barring immigration. This list just went on and on and on. Like, if you're a Chinese male in this state in this time, you have to pay an additional tax just for existing and being a Chinese male. And I mean, it was like Chinese people were barred from testifying in court cases against white citizens. Like, I really did not know a lot of the things that I learned just in trying to answer this question. So, important thing, I would not want an Asian historical's character to revolve around racism. One, because it's one-dimensional and it's tired. It's been done, right? Also, I don't think that the burden of addressing racism in the United States should continue to fall exclusively on the shoulders of dolls of color in Mattel's world, as it has up to this point. But it could be a rich series and a fully fleshed out character where the views and the events of that time undoubtedly play a role in her life. I don't know. Next up is 2 questions from @DerrickHang. Hot take about a community favorite. I don't know if I have a hot take about a community favorite. AGIG seems to love 122's curtain bangs, and I don't at all. But I don't know that qualifies as a hot take. And then their next question was, a doll you wish you could steal from an AG tuber. This is a tough one. I think I'd have an easier time picking a doll from an AGIG account because sometimes I save those pictures. So here is one. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Yeah, she's beautiful. I wouldn't steal it, but if I could clone her, I would have her in my collection. All right, all things AG 2023. They asked me 4 questions. First one was, what inspired you to start your AGTube channel? A few things. I started a channel mainly because I wanted to contribute the kind of content that I was enjoying most. I felt like I was kind of burning through the things that I like to watch most, and I wanted to put more out there. I wanted to learn some new tech skills, and I wanted the creative outlet and to connect with other collectors. So, yeah. How do you get inspiration for your videos? Oh my gosh. I don't know. There's no shortage. I get so many ideas. Sometimes they are inspired by others' videos or someone's comment or question, and I give credit for that, of course. Sometimes they just come to me. I don't know. So far, I have no shortage of ideas. I keep a notebook. I will say that because I don't want to forget one of the ideas. Their third question was, what is your favorite video that you've made? That's tough. I think the all my 5 dollhouses video. Yeah. Number 4, do you collect anything other than American Girl dolls? I did mention that I'm into Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling does suck, but I still like the world of Harry Potter, so I have a pretty extensive wand collection and several other like Harry Potter. At Water Flamingo asked, what is your dream Girl of the Year collection? And I'm not sure about an entire Girl of the Year collection, but the thoughts that I do have about what I would like to see in a Girl of the Year are in that video that I said I'll link in the description. At BarbieGuy-GB9ZW says, actually, I was hoping you might talk about what it means for you to be in the LGBT community and a doll collector and how those intersect. Specifically, they said, I know for me, there are a handful of other gay men that are doll collectors. I'm particularly interested in your views on gender too, especially because the dolls are always so hyper feminine. All right, these are interesting questions. The first one about being a queer collector. I think it's a non-issue for my queer friends that I collect dolls, mostly because they're nice people and actual friends, and they know that they don't have to get it about somebody's hobby to be supportive. But also, a lot of my queer friends are parents, or at least married and settled, and I think they're generally at the point in their lives where they get that everyone deserves to pursue happiness if it's not hurting others. I think the bigger deal is what it means for me to be queer in the doll collecting community. Like being a doll collector among my queer friends is no big deal. But I think in the doll collecting community, there is a lot of conservatism and racism and homophobia and transphobia, etc. So being a visible collector outside of the cis het and or white identities, like for anybody who is a visible doll collector outside of one or more of those identities, I think it matters to other collectors who don't always feel welcome. So let me read you a comment that explains why. Somebody commented not too long ago and said, absolutely amazing. It was a dollhouse tour video. Absolutely amazing. Also hearing that you and your wife both love the dolls opened up doors in my mind I didn't even think was possible for some reason. As a young lesbian, I'm very happy and inspired by your creativity and channel. Thank you so much. I wish for something like this in my future too. And I get a lot of comments from queer people about what it means to see for another collector to be so visible and to be like in a happy relationship. Because sometimes people see like queer collectors who are single, or especially because my wife and I both collect. I think for a queer doll collector, it's like, what? That's my dream come true. So I think that's important for a lot of people who need to see that and need to know that that's possible. So yeah. As far as gender, I want people of all genders to enjoy dolls of all genders. I don't think the dolls are problematic. I think the archaic gender roles are definitely the problem. So yeah, we can collect these dolls and we can decide whether in our own collections they're hyper feminine or not. Some of mine are. A lot of them definitely aren't. Good questions. At Gonz, Gonz 3870 asks 2 questions. If you could design an AG Girl of the Year, what would she look like and what would her hobbies be? This is the 3rd time this question's come up, so I'm going to refer you to that link in the description. The next one was, what's your favorite style to dress your dolls in? And they gave some examples, thankfully. Pajamas, cozy, winter, dresses, summer clothes, etc. I think my favorite style to dress them in is anything fall related. That is my favorite season, so definitely anything fall related. And then like spring dresses, surprisingly, would come in second. 2 more. At Jellybee_AG asks, what country would you most like to visit in the world? And if you took a doll with you, who would you take? Ooh, okay. I'm lucky. I have gotten to visit a lot of countries. Canada, France, Belgium, England, Scotland, Mexico, Colombia, Costa Rica, Nicaragua so far. There are plenty of places I would still love to see, and I do suck at superlatives, so it's hard to pick a favorite, but I would love to visit Ireland And obviously, I would have to take Nellie, even though she's not my favorite doll. She would need to go to Ireland. And New Zealand would be lovely. I would take Elowen because she reminds me most of a character from Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, take her to the filming sites. Yeah, that's a good question. And then at Fish Kid 44 asks the only question that really had nothing to do with dolls. Not a doll question, but what size are your gauges? Every time I watch your videos, I always wonder. I don't know. I've like they've sized up and sized down, and I'm not sure what the current, like I haven't done anything with them in a while, but I think somewhere around 5/8, 5/8 or 3/4, somewhere in there. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're going to end on a question that had nothing to do with dolls because I said you were allowed to ask whatever. All right. This was a long one. You're a real one if you stayed through to the whole thing. If you've got questions that you want to ask, just keep an eye out. I usually do these. This is probably my third or fourth Q&A since I had the channel. And I usually just post in the community posts and say, I'm going to leave this question up for like a week and, or, you know, I'm going to leave it open for a week and then I will just put all the answers together. All right. Playlist on the left as per usual, and a video that the algorithm of YouTube has selected for you is on the right. Feel free to binge watch. If not, I will be back within a week with another video. Take care.